She had always been determined. From an early age, she knew she wanted more than her quiet hometown could offer, more than worn clothes, a dusty library her parents adored, more than a life that repeated itself day after day without change. Her gaze was always set beyond the horizon, toward the glass towers, the boardrooms pulsing with power, where ambition was not a burden but a badge of pride. So she left, armed with a borrowed laptop, 2 suitcases, and a fire in her chest. She threw herself into the rhythm of the big city. The years demanded sacrifices. Mornings began before dawn, nights ended as the sun returned. Failures came often, but each one sharpened her resolve. She studied markets, mastered persuasion, and wrote code until the early hours. Her company, once a fragile idea scribbled in a stained notebook, began to grow. Slowly, then all at once. The first million arrived unexpectedly. A signed contract, a sudden valuation spike, a moment too quick to fully grasp. Applause followed, recognition, magazine features, praise from strangers. She moved into a luxury penthouse, bought a car with doors that lifted skyward, wore clothes that whispered power. Somewhere between investor meetings and international flights, the silence began to grow louder. Calls from family came less often, not because they stopped loving her, but because she stopped picking up. Messages from friends piled up, each with a promise to respond later, a promise rarely kept. Missed birthdays, postponed holidays, people who once filled her life vanished like shadows. She told herself this was the cost of greatness. Her apartment grew more spacious, but emptier. Dinners were quiet, prepared by people paid to smile. Laughter echoed only from screens, not across the table. The city's lights no longer dazzled. They blinked like reminders of something lost. One day, without meetings or flights, she simply sat. No calls, no urgent emails. The silence, once a luxury, now pressed down on her. In that stillness, childhood returned. Her mother's gentle hands, her father's stories beneath the stars, her sister's giggles, her best friend's jokes. They felt distant, like scenes from a life she had observed rather than lived. Realization did not strike like thunder but crept in as a slow ache. She had gained wealth but lost her place in the lives of those who once meant everything. She had become the woman she once dreamed of, and yet lost the girl who once dreamed. Returning home was quiet. The town had barely changed, though she had become unrecognizable. The bookstore still smelled of paper and memory. The air was steeped in simplicity. Her parents welcomed her not with reproach, but with gentle acceptance. The warmth had never left, it had only waited. In the following days, she relearned how to live slowly. Morning tea with her mother, evening walks with her father, homework sessions with her niece, sitting beneath a tree, without the urge to post it online. The richness of those moments eclipsed any figure on her bank account. She didn't abandon her career. The drive remained. But she carved out space, for family, for friends, for presents. Business calls ended before dinner. Weekends became sacred. Laughter returned, real, not from a screen. She began to help others. Mentored young entrepreneurs, not just in business but in balance. She spoke of building wealth without losing your soul, of success that didn't come at the price of solitude, of goals that included joy, stillness, and love. Her days changed. She planted a garden with her mother, built birdhouses with her father, hosted dinners not to impress, but to connect. The people in her life returned, slowly, cautiously, like deer to an old path. Trust rebuilt over shared time. She started writing again, not reports, but reflections. She filled journals with thoughts about what mattered, about how easy it is to chase the world and forget your own. In time, she no longer defined herself by her net worth, but by the depth of her relationships and the steadiness of her peace. She had once been lost in the noise of ambition. Now, she was found in the quiet of meaning. And in the stillness of a Sunday morning, fishing by the river with her father, she knew, the world had not taken everything. What truly mattered had waited for her return.